What's up? It's me, your girl CatCorelli, and this is episode 266 of my Cat Vibe series. Today, I am painting a friend of mine, Olga Chepezhenko. She's an old friend, and in this painting, she is on a bike, on a motorbike. I gotta say that this time I'm trying out something new. Instead of blocking out areas of the canvas and leaving blank space in the back, instead of that, as you've just seen, I've covered the entire canvas with a wash of ochre and burnt sienna and a little bit of Prussian blue mixed in, and kind of designated the areas where the darker areas and the lighter areas, the large areas, and then just scraped off some of that paint. This is a trick that I've seen a couple other artists do, and I just wanted to try it out. And now we are actually filling out the masses, the smaller masses. I'm not going to be commenting too much on the process of this painting. I just want to say that it's been a lot of fun. It's been an interesting project. I've never done anything like this before. My previous portrait was a portrait of my other friend, and that portrait was more traditional in a sense that I used a more traditional approach. I was covering large areas, and then I was blocking out things, and the canvas was smaller, so I did not consider covering the entire surface with a wash of sorts. But this painting is larger, and it is a portrait too. I think I've miscalculated though, because it was intended as a portrait, but it turned out as mostly a portrait of a motorbike and my friend Olga somewhere in the back. As it turned out, I probably should have used different proportions. Probably should have blown out, just enlarged the motorbike a lot more and brought her closer to the forefront. I haven't done this, so I think this entails another portrait. Most likely next time I will just use a different crop of the same image, because I'm using a reference photo, of course. I'm using a reference photo, and I think I will just use an enlarged square ratio reference image, and I'll paint from that. And it's going to be like mostly her, and well, the rest is going to be the motorbike. I think that's going to be reasonable, because this time it's more like an atmospheric, vibey kind of painting, and it's sort of a portrait, but it's sort of not at the same time. It's hard to tell. I don't know. Where does it fall exactly on the spectrum? All in all, it was a huge challenge. I never painted anything as complex as a motorbike. It turned out to be quite difficult. And theoretically, I could have went super precise, hyper precise on the details and trying to nail all the correct proportions and all the technicalities and all that. But one of the factors is that I am not really knowledgeable on the anatomy of a motorbike. So I kind of have a generic understanding of what is what and why things are the way they are, but I'm not a techie. I'm not a techie girl. So I'm a painter. And I wanted to keep this painting more or less loose. I didn't want to tighten it up too much. Well, you see what I'm doing here with the brick wall behind. And by the way, I'm going to be using plenty of impasto mixed in, an impasto gel. Yeah, and also I'm wearing a World War II Soviet military cap. I got me one, and I was wearing it occasionally. You will see a photo of me in this cap on the Victory Day on May 9th. The face turned out to be a challenging thing, because because of the overall proportions. It turned out that my subject actually turned out to be too small comparatively to the size of the canvas. And now another thing is that this canvas is an experimental one. You can see how thick the weave is, and it's not really an art canvas altogether. It's a drop canvas, which I wanted to try out in place of an art canvas. And I picked it because of its texture, because of its rough, raw texture, and it has a thicker weave. So you have this thicker weave, then the subject turned out to be diminished, and now I'm dealing with a face that is very small and a thick weave. And that was one of the biggest challenges in the whole painting. If not for that, probably it would have been 5 times easier to paint. Really hard to nail this. And it's a struggle, because in the end, you're like, okay, what am I going to go microscopic or something? But, after painting everything else and going so far at this point, there is no turning back. So it's like, I'm not going to, at this point in the painting, I'm not going to enlarge the bike and enlarge the subject or enlarge the brick wall or anything like that. So I might as well just go on with whatever I set up for myself in the very beginning, and just try to make the best out of it in context. And so here we go. The brick wall and the greenery, the subdued greenery, I don't know if it's early morning or it's late evening, sometime in summer, but that was fun to paint. I like this brick wall because it allowed me to experiment a little bit with the texture. There's some deep ochre, and burnt sienna, burnt umber, tons of burnt umber mixed with ultramarine blue, actually, which produces this interesting kind of, it's not black really, it's a mixture. I've used plenty of that, and then some of the grayish hints on those bricks. I really enjoyed doing that. Also using that in pastel gel, that's a lot of fun. And I just decided at some point that I'm not going to go all nitty-gritty on the tiny little details in this painting, because if I intended this painting to be really loose and with a free-flowing kind of sense, if that's that kind of painting, then I don't have to, and I don't really need to really tighten it all up too much. Otherwise it will appear dead, and it has to retain that fluency. So you see, I'm tightening up only certain areas. But even the Kawasaki, there are those letters Kawasaki, right, on the side of the bike. I'm not tightening them up too much, because it's just like, no, it would be out of style. And here we go, signing the painting. I will provide a better photo of this paint, because the lighting was horrible. In the end, I was signing it, I think it was late at night, so there was that lamp, and you see the glare is horrendous, and I'll take pictures of this painting and I will post it later on. But here we are. That's what it looks like. Thank you very much for being with me on my channel. I appreciate y'alls, I love y'alls, and you will see me on the next episode. Y'all.